Hey all, Hipper here. So, today we are taking out the Albemarle and I am using an agile build, nothing new there. I'm using Tenant. I'm not going to show the build for this video because I show it every video, but if you want to look it up, just look up any other Albemarle video basically. So, Albemarle is not a tricky ship, but it's one of the more challenging cruisers to play, or at least to do well in. It's a bit tricky because you can really take some very nasty hits in this ship if you're not careful. And that's why I only run this ship here with agile builds, because you really need ingenious and you need that fast rudder to take the sting out of those battleship shells. You can play it in a more of an island humping role, but then you might as well play Cleveland or pretty much anything else that's more suited for that role, because although the damage output of Albemarle is actually very high, the HE is excellent. It's the same as Atago, except you have a much faster reload and it's much easier to get all your guns in action. See that Bart there? He knows that I have a juicy citadel, so obviously I'm target number one. So Albemarle is a bit like Hipper and Prince Eugen actually. It's a ship that you should definitely not underestimate. But it's also a ship that has plenty of weak sides. An Albemarle left to its own devices on a flank is an absolute terror. Just like a Hipper will be, or an Atago for that matter. So most people tend to focus on the Clevelands and the more powerful cruisers first, and in the case of Albemarle, of course you get focused as well, because this ship is an easy citadel if you're not paying attention. So compared to Atago, I actually think I get targeted more in this ship here, even if that's a little bit hard to imagine. So that's the reason I would never play this ship without having Ingenious on my commander, because I need to know every time someone targets me, so I can position accordingly. So here in this case, the two battleships from before, they took the opening that I originally wanted. So I decided, okay, I'll take the next opening then, and then hopefully get access to some broadsides, which is exactly what I'm getting here. And if you saw before, I took a nasty hit as well. I wasn't really paying attention, and it took about a quarter of my health. So I gotta say, you gotta be careful in this ship here. 1 second of looking somewhere else and not paying attention, you run the risk of getting death struck. And in this ship here, taking 1 or 2 citadels is it's a massive problem. And that's why, of course, you get the very nice radar that will allow you to heal back, pretty much all of your health, more or less. Of course, depending on the damage type. But it's not going to save you from taking another citadel that'll kill you. So you have to kind of control your your heals in a way that suits your playstyle. Now, I'm very liberal with my health in this ship here because I play it as with an agile build and I play it aggressively. So at any point I can take huge damage. So that's why I don't let the damage go to max before I use my repair. I kind of try to stay around 2/3 health at all times, because that'll allow me to survive even a very, very nasty citadel strike. And what good is a great heal if you take so much damage that you die? So that's why I'm playing this a little bit careful, I guess. And sure, you can let that green bar get as long as you dare, but I find it's more efficient to keep this ship at around 2/3 health. So like I said, Albemarle is not a particularly strong ship. It's not a ship that the enemy will run away screaming from when they see it. And pretty much the opposite actually. if you're spotted by a battleship, they will go hunting you for citadels. And it's not like if you play a Cleveland or a Wichita, and the battleships will at least sometimes ignore you because it's so hard to get a citadel on those ships. But Albemarle is very, very easy to get a citadel on if you don't know what you're doing. So look at what I'm doing here. I am angling to take the sting out of this guy's salvo here. I did still take damage, but I wasn't citadel, so that's fine. I can get into cover now, and then the battleship can take over here because I can't tank these two battleships here. So I play Albemarle a lot because I enjoy the fact that it's pretty much, well, a less sturdy Wichita with torpedoes. And I love torpedoes on my cruisers. And well, Albemarle is just, it's not perfect, but it's got a bit of everything that makes it just so versatile. It's also very pleasing, I guess, to end up first on the leaderboard in these cruisers here that like are a little bit more challenging than the average. And I mean, if I end up number one in Wichita or Ochakov, I'm like, well, it's not to be expected, but it's certainly not that difficult. But ending up first in Albemarle or one of the more, quirky cruisers, well, that's fun. That's like another dimension of the game here that I enjoy, and it's different. It's something new to do in a game that's perhaps getting a little stale here. Well, it's not something new to do. I mean, I've been doing it, well, the whole time I'm playing this game here. And this is also the reason that on this channel here, you never see any Cleveland battles or any Ochakov battles. You see a few Wichita battles, but other than that, I don't really play those cruisers that I consider, well, not overpowered, but perhaps a little cheap, I guess. I enjoy ships like Albemarle here, Exeter, and well, Atago, and all the funny, quirky cruisers that bring something different to the game than just like bow tanking or hiding behind an island. I mean, there's a lot more layers of entertainment in playing Albemarle compared to playing, for example, Baltimore. Like, it's almost a completely different game. I mean, Baltimore is very, very one-dimensional. There's not a lot that you can do in Baltimore, and it's also the reason it was one of the first cruisers available, because it's super simple to play. While Albemarle, on the other hand, this ship is certainly not simple to play. And speaking of Ochakov, that little red demon there is gonna come out from this island here in just a second, and of course I got my AP ready, so I can punish him for that mistake. And I love games where I get to punish Clevelands and Ochakovs. There's nothing better, really. I much prefer that over like cheaper battleships like Chambord and stuff like that. Getting to whack a Cleveland and an Ochakov, yep, that's delicious. It's especially delicious when you catch a guy like this who's just used to getting overpenned by everything. And I tell you what, he's not getting overpenned by my Albemarle rounds here. So it's, yeah, like I said, I love it. Anyway, that was Albemarle. And like I say, I really enjoy this ship. I think it's so much fun to play. And if you haven't gone down this line yet, I highly recommend you do. Of course, you need a very high level agile commander to play it the way I do. But if you got that, then go ahead and do it. It's a great ship. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you out there.